Power Sec, Mr. Amrin Amin.
Mr. Chairman, I will focus on two areas. The first, keeping Singapore drug-free, and the second, supporting the rehabilitation and reintegration of offenders. Members spoke about the fight against drugs. Mr. Christopher D'Souza spoke about stemming the supply and demand of drugs. Keeping Singapore drug-free is a key priority for MHA. This requires a combination of tough laws, effective enforcement, and preventive education. The Singapore Central Narcotics Bureau, or CNB, has kept up enforcement efforts. Last year, CNB dismantled 23 drug syndicates and conducted 19 island-wide operations targeting drug traffickers and abusers. CNB also conducted 12 joint operations with our foreign counterparts to cut out drug supplies from overseas. Just last week, CNB had a joint operation with Malaysian counterparts to smash a regional drug syndicate. Mr. Christopher D'Souza and Mr. Baeyam King spoke about emerging drug threats such as the purchase of drugs online and new psychoactive substances. These are indeed areas of concern. There are people in Singapore who have tried to buy drugs online. They thought they could get away with it. They were wrong. Last year, CNB worked with courier companies to detect more than 350 parcels with drugs or drug-related products. CNB's follow-up investigation led to the arrest of 177 individuals. We will continue to clamp down on the online drug trade. New psychoactive substances, or NPS, is a global challenge that many countries are grappling with. So far, the NPS situation in Singapore is contained. This is because we keep a close watch for any new substances and list them in our Misuse of Drugs Act. Regular reviews of our legislative and operational strategies are conducted to combat NPS abuse. Enforcement alone is not enough. To keep Singapore drug-free, all Singaporeans must know that drugs are harmful and stay away from them. Mr. Edwin Tong and Ms. Cheng Li Hui asked how we can better engage youths and tackle the high proportion of new and young drug abusers. In 2017, 2 out of 5 abusers arrested were new abusers. Close to 2/3, 64% of new abusers arrested were under 30 years old. This is very worrying, and there are foreign celebrities who glamorize drug use, and they falsely advocate drugs as harmless and cool. Our youths must not be fooled. Minister earlier mentioned about Portugal's campaign, Say No to Second-Hand Syringes. In Singapore, we have a different campaign. We promote a drug-free life. We advocate a life free from addiction, and we encourage our youths to enjoy life to the fullest and make the best of life's opportunities. Be yourself, hashtag, be drug-free. These are the taglines that are trending here in Singapore. This is the narrative. We reject drugs, and we reject the notion that drugs are harmless or cool. They destroy life, health, and family, and drug abuse is not a victimless crime. We have ramped up our preventive drug education efforts in the last year, both on the ground and on social media. Besides school programs and roadshows, CNB collaborated with education institutions and young local filmmakers to produce a series of videos showing the destructive effect of drugs. 18 short films were posted on CNB's Instagram and Facebook with the handle Film Friday, racking up close to 2 million views in total. To reach out to more youths, CNB also set up a makeshift club called GERD Club outside Cathay Cineplex. GERD Club featured lights and sounds which simulated the disorientating and distressing effects of drugs. More than 4,300 anti-drug pledges were collected. Our community is with us in this fight against drugs. Our United Against Drugs coalition partners include Pastamania and Singapore Post, just to name a few, and they have helped to distribute 50,000 drug-free SG keychains to the public during our anti-drug abuse campaign last year. Online retailer Ribbons distributed 5,000 anti-drug message cards in their parcels during Christmas last year. Ms. Rahayu Mahzam spoke about engaging the community, especially the Malay Muslim community. Mr. Chairman, Please allow me to speak in Malay on this. Berita baiknya adalah kami menerima sokongan yang padu daripada masyarakat Melayu Islam dalam pelbagai usaha memerangi najis dadah. April lalu, 6 pertubuhan Melayu Islam yang diketuai Pergas melancarkan kempen Dadah Itu Haram. Ini adalah inisiatif para pemimpin masyarakat demi menyebarkan kesedaran mengenai larangan Islam ke atas dadah. Lebih 250 kedai menyokong usaha ini. Ini termasuk 50 kedai gunting yang mempunyai jangkauan lebih 10,000 pelanggan setiap minggu. Abang-abang dan pakcik-pakcik tukang gunting sedang membantu menyebar mesej anti dadah dengan memaparkan pelekat dadah itu haram di pintu masuk dan cermin kedai mereka. Hasilnya menggalakkan. Bulan lalu, saya pergi gunting rambut di Woodlands North Plaza. Tukang gunting berkenaan malah meminta lebih banyak pelekat dadah itu haram. Saya tanya, kenapa? Beliau menjawab, ramai pelanggannya melihat pelekat di kedainya dan inginkan pelekat itu untuk diri mereka. Inilah kemajuan yang memberangsangkan. Hampir 200 abang-abang motor juga sama-sama menggerakkan rangkaian mereka untuk menyebarkan mesej dadah itu haram. Mereka ke tempat-tempat tarikan belia dan gerai-gerai makan di serata Singapura. Saya menyertai mereka mendekati orang ramai dari Bedok ke Arab Street, kita singgah ke Bukit Batuk, ke Jurong dan terus ke Woodlands. Dan banyak lagi tempat untuk menyebarkan kesedaran tentang najis dadah. Sesungguhnya, ini adalah satu usaha masyarakat, satu usaha dari belia untuk belia, satu usaha yang amat murni. Saya tabik kesediaan mereka. Antara penunggang itu ialah Encik Ramli Ismail dan juga Encik Azri Zulfarhan Kasmin, seorang pencarah IT berusia 30 tahun. Mereka mengerahkan rangkaian kumpulan motosikal untuk menjalankan usaha ini mendekati belia setiap bulan dengan ke pusat-pusat tarikan belia dan tempat-tempat makan. Selain mereka, sekumpulan mahasiswa Melayu Islam diketuai oleh Persatuan Bahasa Melayu Singapura, NUS, juga masuk sekaki untuk membantu dalam usaha-usaha anti dadah. Semua ini perkembangan yang sangat baik. Ini ikrar kami. Kami akan terus menyokong kuat usaha masyarakat dalam kempen Dadah Itu Haram. Kami akan terus bekerjasama rapat dengan pertubuhan Melayu Islam seperti Pergas, Jamiah, Pertapis, Angkatan Karyawan Islam, AMP, Muhammadiyah, Persatuan Pemudi Islam Singapura demi memperkukuhkan usaha membebaskan masyarakat kita daripada dadah terlarang. Kami sangat berazam untuk memastikan anak-anak yang kita sayangi terpelihara daripada najis dadah. Kami impikan sebuah masyarakat Melayu yang bebas daripada dadah yang haram yang menjahanamkan anak-anak bangsa kita. Saya yakin dengan kita terus saling bahu-membahu, kita pasti mencapainya. Let me now turn to the second area of focus, supporting the rehabilitation and reintegration of offenders. Mr. Christopher D'Souza asked if MHA can consider quashing criminal records for drug offenders who stay free from drugs for 3 to 4 years to facilitate their reintegration into society. Today, drug offenders who are placed on diversionary programs such as Community Rehabilitation Centre and Drug Rehabilitation Centre will not receive criminal records. We will consider how else we will support the reintegration of drug offenders. Mr. Louis Ng spoke about the importance of programs in prison and family and social support. He asked if the Singapore Prison Service, or SPS, will extend family programs to more inmates. SPS works with community partners like Focus on the Family, the Salvation Army, and Singapore Children's Society to conduct bonding programs for inmates and their families. We have structured family programs run by agencies such as Fayette Community Services and Lakeside Family Services to strengthen family relationships. More than 4,000 inmates benefited from these last year. SPS aims to extend family programs to more inmates. Another factor that can reduce reoffending is social support. SPS has established a befriending program for trained volunteers to befriend inmates and support them upon release. Since 2010, over 900 inmates have benefited from this. Mr. Louis Ng asked if SPS would consider having more programs featuring ex-offenders. We agree that sharing by ex-offenders can be very impactful. SPS collaborates with community partners to engage ex-offenders to give monthly motivational talks. In addition to face-to-face talks, the talks are also uploaded on chat tablets, which are being piloted for inmates to engage in self-learning. Employment is another key in breaking the offending cycle. Mr. Gan Thiam Poh and Mr. Edwin Tong asked for an update on plans to enhance the employability of ex-offenders. The Singapore Corporation of Rehabilitative Enterprises, or SCORE, provides skill training, job placement, job coaching, and job retention support to help ex-offenders reintegrate into the workforce. Over 5,500 employers have supported SCORE. And with their support, 97% of inmates who were referred to SCORE last year secured a job before their release. This year, SCORE will be launching several initiatives to enhance the employability of inmates. Firstly, SCORE will introduce a job profiling tool to assess and coach inmates more effectively. Secondly, SCORE will extend job retention support from 6 months to 12 months, or in other words, inmates can have a job coach for a year after their release. Thirdly, SCORE will offer WSQ advanced training under the WSQ Culinary Skills Framework. This will equip inmates with vocational skills in demand by potential F&B employers, and we will consider having WSQ advanced training in other sectors. Mr. Chairman, supporting offenders in their rehabilitation journey is not easy. For some, it takes more than one attempt. We are with them in each step of the way. I first met Lena after her release from prison in 2016. She had found a new job through SCORE, and I thought that she was coping well. But months later, I met her again when I visited prison school for a National Youth Achievement Award ceremony. Lena had gone back to drugs. She saw me and she said, "I'm sorry, I have let you down." And I said to her that we have not given up on you. And that, Mr. Chairman, is also what our officers do. We do not give up. We are tough on drugs and crime, but we also believe very strongly in rehabilitating and reintegrating inmates. Our prison school has at its entrance a lighthouse mural. This symbolizes our efforts to shine light towards a bright path, a path that leads away from the darkness of drugs, a path that guides those who have strayed to a fulfilling life towards a brighter future. Keeping Singapore safe and secure is a whole of Singapore effort, from our home team officers to our community partners, to our volunteers, to our citizens. Each of us plays an important part in making Singapore our safe and secure home. Thank you.